Hello, hello, and welcome back. Well, there we go. So over the weekend, I finally got around to uploading the last two podcasts. Because I forgot to do it on Thursday, and then we left town before I could even upload it on Friday. But I ended up just doing it at my in-laws that we were visiting, and they have some of the slowest upload internet that I've seen. Like downloading the way I get it from my phone to my computer to render the podcast is I upload it to Google Drive and then download it on my computer, because the files are too big to really do any kind of Bluetooth sharing. It's faster to just do it over the internet. And then it also gives me a backup of the original file if I ever need it. But their internet is so slow, it took like an hour to download the audio files onto my laptop from Google Drive, and the audio files for this podcast are not very large. So it was a lot just to get those. And then I rendered it, which is all non-internet, so that was easy. But because there were two of them, it took like 3.5 hours. So I just left it running. But then I had to upload them, and that took a lot longer. So the downloads were only slow because we were in it was late, and so we were already getting ready for bed, and the room we were staying in is nowhere near their Wi-Fi router, and so they have an extender, but it really throttles the speed, and so that was why that was slow. But then when I was uploading them on Saturday, I was right next to the router. I left my computer running right next to it to upload them, and their upload speed is terrible because it took forever. But they just don't use the internet much, so they don't really care. As long as it's fast enough to stream one channel to one TV, they have enough internet. But I guess I'm just used to having ours at home, which is pretty fast. Which it's pretty easy to get fast internet these days. It's just, you gotta be wanting to pay for it, I guess. I mean, ours is $50 a month for half a gig download. So 500 megabit download, and I think it's like 50 megabit upload, which is pretty good. Not amazing, but you know. Anyway, it's just one of those things that they've kind of said. They also think that there's not better internet because the person who sold them their internet said that is the fastest speed that they could get out there because they live out of town a little ways. And the salesperson, of course, said, "Oh, this is the fastest internet we can give y'all." And of course, that was like 8 years ago, probably. And so it's definitely faster by now, but also he probably just, that was the fastest they could offer and wanted to say that nobody else would give them a better deal. But yeah, theirs is like 30 download, like 5 or less upload. I don't think it's even 5 upload. I think it like is really like it's because their bill says 35, but their real, like I tested their internet speed and they actually got 36 download, which is pretty good considering they're only paying for 30, but they only had like 2.5 to 3 megabit per second upload. So it took a while. But you know, it's interesting because, you know, people have different different needs for internet. And so I know my wife and I probably don't really use 500 megabit internet because we only really have 3 devices going at once usually. But it's good at making sure that we always have enough bandwidth for whatever we need to do. And then also anytime I go to download a game, it's very nice to have a 50 megabyte game download in just a couple of minutes versus having to wait hours. But yeah, our upload speed, we do kind of need that upload speed just because if trying to play games, it helps to have plenty of upload bandwidth. And then on top of that, now that I'm trying to upload videos to YouTube, that still takes like 5 minutes, but that's not bad. I am still gonna try to make other YouTube videos other than just this podcast, because I've started on painting the LAATLE for Star Wars Legion. I am gonna continue recording that. It just is gonna be one of those ongoing projects because it's gonna take a lot to paint it. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna do any like time lapses. I don't know how. Like, I know how to do a time lapse on the camera, but I don't know how to do it in software, and I also don't have a video that can record for that long. Which I guess I could just do a time lapse every few seconds. That might work. But yeah, I sprayed it. The next step on that one is basing the whole thing in gray, which is just going to be a whole lot of paint. but shouldn't be too bad. Because it's all the same color. So I can just do the whole thing, and then I need to figure out if I want to do any highlights, or I want to do weathering, but I need to figure out what exactly I need to do, because I have a few different options, and it should actually be pretty easy to paint as far as the color goes, because it's just gray. I was thinking I might do a stripe or something like that, or do some colored sections, but I can't figure out the color quite yet. Because I kind of like having just the classic look of my miniatures. Like my stormtroopers are all just white. There's no colored indicators on them. And my death troopers are just black, so I might just stick with that kind of pattern and do just all gray on it. But I was thinking I might also just do a line of black as kind of a detailing thing, because I want to add a little more to it. It's a big model and it looks really cool. And I'm going to do a lot on the interior, but the interior is not going to be seen very often, so I'll probably end up doing more on the exterior that'll be seen. I was thinking about getting some Imperial insignia transfers, but I kind of want it to be used for both armies, so I don't know if I'll do that. Because it could be Imperial or Republic. But I'm trying to kind of plan it out before I get too far along, but it might just be a do it as you go and see what happens kind of deal. And so next step though is obvious, and that's going to be basing it. So I might try and record that this week, or maybe next weekend, since this weekend is the 4th. Independence Day, but it's not now, so we'll continue this later. And back. So, I was just thinking I could do a lot more discussion and in-depth thought in this podcast if I had something for notes, whether having notes on what to say or what to talk about, or just taking notes on what I'm kind of thinking. But since I'm driving, it's kind of difficult for me to have any kind of notes other than mental ones, because I am very careful not to be distracted while I'm driving doing this. And so yeah, I always have both hands on the wheel and never look at my phone. It's actually in my pocket where I can't even see it. So, anyways, yeah, I was just thinking that it is probably a good idea to start kind of practicing keeping mental notes more, because I have a very poor memory. I have a hard time remembering details on things, and so it's something I do need to get better at, and maybe trying to take some notes and remember them will make it a little better over time. I actually have felt the difference that it's made just kind of in my phone conversations at work, especially in my ability to talk continuously without having to pause so much to think about things. So that's good. That's one thing I was wanting to happen when I started this podcast, is just to become better at that kind of continued conversation without having to pause so much. And so it's good to see that has had some effect. I was on a phone call earlier just before, like 10 minutes ago, where I had to call somebody on something, and it's normally would have taken me a little bit longer to get the words out and to kind of make the subject change as needed. But I felt like I could do a lot more than I used to be able to with just providing all the information in a more clear manner, because I wasn't constantly pausing and humming and hawing about every little thing. And even when I mentioned something that I didn't have the email I was referencing up right away, I was able to kind of talk about what the email was generally about until I could find it. That way I could then provide a little more detail. And so that's good. And I think that one of the reasons I wanted to do this wasn't just to get better at talking on the phone, but just to get better in general at the kind of, I mean, this isn't very social, but the more social aspect of it, which I guess since I still haven't shared this with my wider family and friends, telling them about it, it probably isn't a good indicator of my progress on that front. But I feel like it is doing a little bit, and over time, maybe making this podcast and trying to make some additional YouTube videos, I might get a little better at just kind of presenting myself and not feeling so awkward and on my own socially when it comes to reaching out to other people. But yeah, I feel like there are a lot of benefits to doing different things, and they're not always immediately apparent, so I'm interested to see what some of the benefits or detriments might be in the future when talking about this project I've been doing. You know, on the description for these podcasts, I've been kind of just copying it over so I don't have to rewrite it every time, but I put join me as I work on this new project. And I guess I was thinking, I actually thought last week when I got to episode 15, but this right here is going to be episode 20. So I'm kind of wondering, at what point is it no longer a new project? Because it's been 20 episodes, and that's almost a month already, which time really does seem to fly by. And at what point does it kind of become not so much a new project as something I've just been doing? Which is also crazy to think that at an average of about 45 to 50 minutes, that's every fourth podcast-ish is about 3 hours or so. Probably about an average of 4 hours a week if I do 5 of these a week, which I started not on a Monday. I should have waited and started on a Monday, but you know, it's never gonna be it's never gonna be the perfect time to start something new, so it's good to just start when you have the drive to. But now I feel like it's going to be a little off, but I guess there's not 5 work days every week anyway. Anytime I take a vacation or a sick day or there's a holiday, like there is coming up this week with the 4th, there will only be 4 for this week. But yeah, what I was saying is about 4 hours a week, it's already, or 4 hours every 5 episodes, I should say. This will be roughly hour 16, which is a lot of hours of talking, and a lot of hours of just having it out there too. I know I've just kind of gone all over the place on every subject imaginable almost, but it's helping kind of get the ideas out of my head a little bit as well. I don't know, I feel like it might be good to kind of focus on certain subjects for certain days, but at the same time I know that some things aren't for everybody. So it's kind of a balance between trying to keep a cohesive thought throughout the day as I'm recording versus trying to make sure that I don't just talk about something that nobody's interested in. But I guess I'm not really doing this for the views anyway. I'm more just having fun with it, so it's probably not as important that I keep a cohesive subject for the viewer, but also not as important that I talk about something everybody's interested in at least once per podcast. So I guess kind of keeping the balance is irrelevant, and it should be more about kind of what I'm aiming to do with that particular time, which I don't really know all the time. Some days I really want to kind of flesh out a thought, like last week I was talking a lot about kind of some ideas I had for a role-playing game, and today I've been more talking about just the idea of the podcast and the YouTube channel itself and where I'm at and see that going, which I'll probably continue today just because that's kind of what I'm thinking about. But I have kind of thought about as well trying to structure these in some way and maybe have some notes I can review before turning on the car that'll help me to remember where I've been that day or what I'm talking about. So if anybody listening would like to let me know what your ideas are, there's always a comment section, and I haven't had a comment yet, but if I do get a comment, I'll probably try and read it just to see if anybody else has ideas on any processes I could go through for this. But that's all the time I have for now. I'm pulling up to the house, so I will continue after lunch. Probably talking about next steps and kind of where I'm going. At least where I hope to be going. But that'll be then. And I'm back. So kind of talking more on the status and direction of the YouTube channel as a whole, since that's the only place I'm really uploading this podcast. I still am thinking about uploading it to Spotify, but there's just a lot more traditional media involved, and like you have to get a company to essentially produce and upload it for you and manage your account, and I don't really want to deal with all that. I know that Spotify is going to have way more reach for podcasts, but I just do not want to have to deal with all that processing stuff, so I'll probably just stick to YouTube. Maybe I'll upload it to Spotify if I ever start having a bigger audience. Just I can start it then, but for now it's just not worth it. But the YouTube channel side of things, I was thinking I do want to do more with the channel than just the podcast. And so I don't know whether I want to focus more on stuff I do with like miniatures or just try and record some gaming. I have recorded some like smaller clips of games, which I might start trying to edit. I really just need to learn how to edit with the software I currently have and figure all that out, mess around with it, and have some fun. And then see, because I'd like to do like some good edits, and the edits of games that I find the most fun are ones where they have like kind of funny moments and then they have some text essentially in video subtitles. But I don't know, that might not be doable with my current setup, so I might just have to do smaller clips and no subtitles. But I do think that it could be workable still. And of course, if I ever do start making any money, I do kind of want to invest it back into getting better equipment. That way I can continue working on it. Because I think once I have a better GPU, then the video processing will get faster and also be more doable. Because right now it's very slow, like processing the video as it's put in. So I can't really edit in real time at all. So I'm gonna have to just play around with it, see if there's kind of a better way to do it, because maybe I'm using the wrong software for the application I'm trying to go for, but we'll just have to take a look and figure it out as I go. But I definitely do want to do some IRL videos, like painting my miniatures, and I still do need to record the footage for the video of showing off my already painted miniatures that I never recorded. And then going forward, I might just start recording all the miniatures I paint, or it may just be kind of the big ones or the ones that are a little more specialized, because I don't know if I want to do like painting my 50 clone troopers as one video, or maybe just kind of have how I paint the commanders, since they're a little more specialized, which I might or might not do the whole unit in a certain color. I still haven't decided on that, because the clone troopers look the best when they have colored highlighting, but I don't know what color I want to do for them yet. And I'd still kind of like to replace my base clone trooper units, because I have the old phase ones, so they're old soft plastic miniatures that they're kind of a little more rough on their detailing, and they don't kind of fit as well. They paint a little rougher as well, so I've already painted them actually, so, but what I was thinking is I might do away with kind of that paint scheme I had in mind, because I was doing just the standard blue, which looks good, but my favorite color is brown, and even though there's not like an in-universe clone trooper unit that uses brown as their highlight, I kind of like that. I know I'm weird for having my favorite color be brown. That's not a very common favorite color, but it's mine. And so I've thought about kind of using that, but I like the in-universe colors too, so I might just go with standard white, and then I can have them just kind of be whatever. Because I'm doing that with the stormtroopers, I'm leaving them just standard white. So I might do that with the clones as well, because they would kind of look good in any situation, not just in a tabletop game. That way I could use them if I wanted to do some kind of like diorama or display piece as well. Anyway, so I want to continue with the miniature painting, but then I also want to do kind of building my not display, but terrain for gaming, because I do enjoy doing that as well, and I want to do a big project with that. So I have a table idea kind of set up, and I've marked off where I'm going to cut my big piece of plywood, but I want to start out by having that be the start of the video, is cutting the plywood, and then I'm going to, from there, go through and add some plans. So I'm gonna like draw out where I want things to be, and then I need to do the legs of it, and then figure out how I'm gonna do the terrain itself, because I want to do more than just 2D. I want to do like a 3D map and have a hill and maybe some kind of like escarpment, like small cliffs, I guess would be a good way to put it, so that there's like, because what I want to do is have one end be higher than the other, and I don't know if I want to do it lengthwise or widthwise, because it'll be a 3-foot by 6-foot table, and so I need to fill that space with terrain. So I don't know whether I want to do the terrain height difference more down the length of the board or the width of the board. The width of the board might be harder, but would provide more kind of options, because it has more width to it, so I could kind of get a different effect versus doing it lengthwise. I could have a more gradual increase, but it would probably be a little more difficult to get that variation in the increase, because it would need to be more similar across the same area. So I've thought about different ideas on doing that, but I might just start that as like a series rather than a single video. I haven't decided on that yet, but I want to do a video of painting per kind of unit, and then another video of my painted units, another video or video series on creating terrain, and then I also want to maybe do some videos on building out my armies and having games. And I like narrative games. Those seem a lot more fun, but harder to do than just the basic kind of set up and play rules, because you have to kind of create the story and then have some form of action that is the story going forward. And I might need some help for that from others, so that maybe I control one side, they control the other side. Maybe if I have two people, they could control both sides and I'm more of the narrator. I feel like that could be a lot of fun, but I would have to find the right people for it, and find some people who are interested in doing something that's a little less traditional like that. And then other videos I want to do are maybe just standard battle reports, kind of take pictures and narrate what happened, not have to video the entire thing, because my camera can only go for 30 minutes at a time currently, and so it's not really able to do a full-length battle report, but I'm able to do more clips, so I could maybe record portions of a turn or each kind of step, but then I don't want to have it go over the 30 minutes and lose some footage, but I also don't want to have to deal with like 52-minute segments from each activation. Which, since it's an alternate activation game, it's kind of, I couldn't really do all of one side, then all the other side as separate takes. I would have to do either takes per activation or more long takes about kind of groups. But maybe we could focus on sides of the battle. And it's just some ideas I have to work through and workshop. But then the other video ideas I want to do some gaming. I did record some Battlefront 2 clips that I think I could, well, I recorded one whole game, and then I recorded a couple of clips, and I either need to record a lot of clips or edit down one game into more of a cohesive story. But I'm not sure if I'll do both or just one or the other. Clips may be easier to do because I can just stick them one right after another and not have to worry about context, whereas if I do an entire match, I have to kind of edit it down a little, take out the slow parts, and then kind of provide the story of the match in a way. But I don't have any voiceover for those yet, so I need to figure out what I'm going to do as far as voiceover, and I need to record my voice during it if I'm going to do clips. But that's all the time I have for now, so I'm back at work. Continue this later or in just a couple seconds for y'all. Alrighty, welcome back. Well, I guess y'all never left, so welcome back to me for the final segment today. Oh. Well, it has been quite a day. The weather completely changed. It was hot all morning and then just turned cool and cloudy. Well, cooler, it's still in the 80s, but for here that's cool in the summer. Anyways, I was going back to the earlier topic of where the YouTube channel can and should be going from this point forward. And I reckon that I do want to move forward with, all the different video ideas. I want to try a little bit of everything, just see what sticks. I know that the podcast is probably going to be the lowest performing thing on there, just because most people don't want to listen to some guy talk for hours at a time, so yeah. But as far as the podcast goes, I have gotten to the point where I am enjoying these kind of daily conversations with myself, and I think it's something I want to keep doing even if it doesn't perform well. But I also think that I might be open to trying some new things, whether that's trying to do a podcast not in the car, where I have a little more consistency and control over the podcast and its topics, if that's something that could be interesting. And maybe I thought about maybe doing some special episodes when I go travel and we're in the car for a while, but I would have to test that out, because I was thinking of getting my wife on here to talk. I almost did I almost asked her if she wanted to this last time we went traveling, but I wasn't sure if the car would be too loud, and I think it was a little loud, but it might work anyway, because I know that the app I'm using should have a little bit of artificial noise cancellation, and so it might be able to handle the road all right. We'll just have to test it out and see, maybe. But my wife's car is a lot louder than my truck, so I think that might be an issue. Also, it's just the highways. Like, her car isn't that much louder than my truck, but the highways headed out towards her parents are rather loud because they're not as well traveled, I guess would be a good way of putting it. And so they don't tend to be as smooth as the roads around here. And the vibration from the road tends to make more noise. When we were traveling this past weekend, you wouldn't believe how many bugs got splattered on the front of our car. Like, there were hundreds of them. And because we were traveling near dusk, and so the lights from the headlight was attracting swarms of bugs, and there were more bugs out anyway since it was near dark. Just all combined to make a big old mess on the front hood of the car. But luckily the windshield and a lot of the bugs on the front of the car got washed off in the rain because it was raining when we came back. So we got a little bit of a free car wash out of that, but I don't think it's supposed to be raining as much this next weekend, so we will see if we get bugs. But I think that might be something I'll see if she's up for and try doing this weekend. Also, I know that our daughter is in the car too, and she has her little show going when we travel. We try not to give her we don't give her an iPad or anything like that. We only let her watch shows on the phone really when we're traveling. So, just keep in mind for recording that there might be copyright music and noises playing in the background, so I might need to watch for that, listen, make sure that doesn't show up before I post it. Also, it'll be a much longer podcast, but that's what a special episode is anyway, so I do think I kind of want to get some microphones that are a little better at isolating the vocal sound, but that would be expensive, and then I'd need an actual computer recording from those kind of microphones, so that might be something far in the future, because you don't want to have a computer out while you're driving. But I might be able to do something like set it up in the back seat, or have a little microcomputer that records it. But then again, I would also have to do smaller segments that are not as well defined. Getting back on the road here, it's kind of busy. I had to kind of move out of the way of that guy there. Sorry to go quiet, just a lot of traffic right there for some reason. Anyway, as far as other additional videos I've thought about, I haven't really thought about much because I don't have that many other hobbies yet. I've thought about doing some kind of home crafting, because I built my wife a easel that I thought very quick and easy job, not any complication to it. So it was just, that might not even have been worth a video. I literally just cut 3 pieces of wood and then nailed them together. Well, screwed and nailed with a hinge, but that's as complicated as it got. Whereas I've been thinking about maybe building a little gardening area for my wife, because she wants to do some of that, and so I might build out one of those, and maybe I could record that just using some old planks and doing that. I mean, I've had a lot of ideas for just little builds I could do around the house. It's just kind of hard to get the material together and do it with the little free time it feels like I have, and I don't like running to the store a lot, so I prefer to only go when I need a lot of things or am already going for something else. But if I could get a list of projects and a list of materials needed, then I could probably do it all in one trip. And then again, though, it costs money to buy things like that. And until I start making money off of videos, I don't know if I want to do that for sure. I need to look again and see the requirements, because I think it was something like 40,000 views in a month, but I don't remember for sure. Which right now I'm at 100 total. But I mean, maybe I'll get there one day, especially if I start posting videos instead of just having podcasts up, because podcasts don't do as well as actual videos where you're doing something, especially things people might search for. So maybe once I get that up and running here in the next couple months, and then give it some time, maybe in about like a year or so, I could have enough views to monetize it and then start doing things that are not just hobbies of mine, and expanding a little more, getting some equipment. I mean, I don't even know how much money I could make off of it, because I know it's not much for low view videos, but maybe I could convince some kind of sponsor to pick it up. Probably not, but you know, it never hurts to dream. Which, I guess that's what this is, just kind of a different hobby of its own kind of thing. Anyway, that's all the time I got for today, so thank y'all for listening. And be back tomorrow.